Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Feature Focus, our monthly changelog stream here at DevCycle. My name's Andrew, your host extraordinaire for our monthly Feature Focus stream. I'm super excited to be coming to you live outside for the first time, I think, on this stream from beautiful Victoria, British Columbia in Canada. It's a gorgeous day here, and I'm really excited because we're kind of going like all over North America with our hosting today. So I am thrilled because every time that we do Feature Focus, you might know we invite a new member of the DevCycle team to come and join us, and I'm thrilled to be joined by the newest member of the DevCycle team, Dan. Dan, I'm going to pull you onto the stream. How's it going?
Hey, good. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. All right. So Dan, look at that. We already got comments in the chat. Is so good. Yeah, right. Hey Vic. And hey, call me Carmelo. Yeah, I'm gonna get some background music going here and add a little ambiance to the space. But I also just want to give a rundown for anybody who's here for the first time. Maybe for you, Dan, maybe you have no idea why you're here, which I totally support. It's a Friday. I asked you to come and do this random stream. But this is Feature Focus. Like I said before, our monthly changelog stream where we, the team from DevCycle, talk about some of the favorite recent releases that we've had over on DevCycle.com and just really cool things that we're freaking excited about with the stuff that we do at DevCycle. Now, you may also be asking yourself, what is a DevCycle? Why should I care? And for that, I'm going to do like I do every week. I'm going to throw our guest on the spot. And considering it's in his title, product marketing, we're going to throw Dan on the spot right now to say a little bit about what DevCycle actually is. And Dan, I'll give you I'll get like our webpage up here so you can see it as well. So even if you just want to read it off, that's totally okay.
Sure. Yeah, no. So DevCycle, and again, I'm kind of, learning my own elevator pitch here, right? Because I've only been here for about 30 days now. So yeah, DevCycle is a feature flag management tool built for developers by developers. We are focused on the developer experience and basically how you can build these features, how you can share sort of the use cases for the features with the rest of the team, allows product managers and marketing managers and so forth to sort of turn features on and off, both in your product, on your website, not just on and off, but managing sort of the canary deployment process and everything in DevCycle and making it easy to just, manage all of the different features in your whole code base, clean up tech debt anytime there's sort of stale feature flags and things like that. But yeah, that's DevCycle, kind of helping everyone on the team manage the full, software development lifecycle. It's sort of the goal.
Love that. And I gotta say, Dan, so I'm gonna eventually have to go back and do like a comparison of like who did it better. Was it Kobe? Was it Mark? Was it Dan? I think for like 30 days though, I think that was a solid pitch, solid way to start to start off your first stream with the team. So Dan, like I said, when we were kind of getting set up for this, I always like to do a little bit of tech thing, make sure that things are working right. And while I do that, maybe you want to just kind of introduce yourself to the team, share a little bit about yourself, so what kind of brought you to the DevCycle team?
Yeah, of course. So obviously my name's Dan. I spent about 5 or 6 years in the DevOps space now. I started first at a company called VictorOps that was sort of more in the incident management world and on-call sort of response, I guess, to all types of different operations and development problems, which obviously led me to working for Splunk for a few years, New Relic for a while. So I've been in the observability world for a while, and it led me, I kind of tangentially touched a lot of development topics. One of the features I helped release at New Relic was related to tracking changes that you make, which sort of got me into the CI/CD pipeline and better understanding some of the problems you have during the release management piece of your, organization or of your development lifecycle. And yeah, that's sort of how I ended up here. I spent a lot of my early career in startups, and so DevCycle was a good transition for me. But I'm excited to kind of dive into a new tool, solve new problems, kind of work more with developers than DevOps folks. Obviously, everyone kind of benefits from feature flagging, but I'm excited to just learn about a new tool and bring some of my historical expertise here as well.
So thanks so much for that, Dan. Seems like the tech is working, and I feel like there was like a little bit of a hot take there, like maybe software developers versus DevOps. Like, I don't know. We're gonna clip this really well later. So we're gonna see what happens. But
Sure.
Thanks thanks so much for the intro, Dan. And yeah, I'm super excited to kind of jump into clip it. Thank you, Call Me Carmelo. It's all on you. Just clip it, and again, just make sure that this is the what do they call it? There's a show that I watch where they do like the like it just depends on the cut of it, and you can make somebody seem like the bad guy. That's what's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so if you are kind of catching the stream and this is a first time you've happened upon us, the way that Feature Focus works is we talk about some of the recent features that have come out in the past month, and then also just look at some things that we're really excited about and that we love. And I mean, June has been a really great month for us, but also like maybe less of an exciting month when it comes to feature releases. Like there's been cool stuff that's come out, but a lot of the stuff that we've done this month is really focused around some just making things that are already good even better. So we've had some updates to our TypeScript and JavaScript SDKs. We've had some updates to our Python SDK. So lots of cool stuff there. And I know we're going to talk about some other kind of features as well, but I kind of want to throw over to you, Dan, to lead the show for like the features that you kind of want to highlight for us this week on the show.
Sure. Yeah, totally. Do you mind if I present my screen or?
Oh yeah. Let me pull my screen. Stop screen share. There we go. You should be able to do it now.
Okay. Share. Let's just share this window. Okay, yeah, so a couple things we want to talk about today. I guess I want to talk a little bit about I'm new here and some of my, I guess, like initial experience setting up feature flags, something I've never really done before. I set up a very basic, I did like a Ruby on Rails tutorial 6 years ago, and I had some very old apps, and so I was going on there and I set up a very simple web app where I basically created this is not that environment, by the way, but I created my first feature flag. And I think I messed up a little bit on the way because it ended up being just a totally blank HTML page where it was either on or off. But I got it to work. So it was kind of fun to see sort of the concept behind how you get that set up, and then also seeing how you can kind of take different widgets and things on your page and turn them on or off. A couple things that really stood out to me when I went through that initial phase was how simplistic the UI is in a good way, because you basically just manage features, variables, variations on those variables, and then you can look at the metrics and performance of all these different things. So it's really straightforward to me, because you look at and I think organizations who look at features in a very intelligent way will do this very, very well, right? Where you'll organize your features in a very smart way, and then you can use variables and variations of those to test and sort of learn and optimize your product over time. So product managers get a lot of use of this, but developers also, one thing that stood out to me that I thought was really cool is how easy this is. You don't need to change organizations or anything like that. You don't need to change accounts. You basically can just go in here and you see all of the different variables that are turned on for this feature, the in-app chat feature here. For development, there's the staging environment, there's the production environment, right? So you can easily just partition out who sees which version of the feature that you're working on, which is great for development teams. It's super easy, right? You can see Jonathan and Kobe, the only people who see this. And then in staging, you can share it with everybody on the team so that people can kind of comment. You can have QA assistance there, and then you can release to production, and you can always just turn these on and off super easily. You can see when these features and these variables become sort of stale, and you can just quickly clean up the code base, which I think is a huge benefit. Whether you're doing it, manually or automated, you can at least see this detail very quickly and easily. So that's one of the first things that really stood out to me. I thought it was really cool how you can go in here and see all these different variables simply. You can, look at all the different metrics on all of your tests here as well. I just think the UI of a lot of software companies is very complicated nowadays, and making it simple to find everything you need is really cool. And that kind of leads me into the next piece here that I thought was interesting, and we'll dive into the documentation a little bit more for this. Is engineering-led experiments, right? Like, so from my marketing background, I think this is one thing that stood out to me is if I'm using a tool like this and I'm working with a developer, a lot of what we're going to be doing is running A/B tests on a marketing website or on a shopping cart, something like that. And so the fact that you can go in there and see metrics, and I can work with a developer to easily turn variations on and off for a non-technical audience, I think is really beneficial for me.
So Dan, I'm wondering, I don't know if, like, obviously we've got a lot of technical people that are on the stream, but maybe
Sure.
not. So like what exactly is A/B testing, and like how could DevCycle even play into that? Because we're not obviously an A/B test, like we're not an A/B testing platform, we're a feature flagging platform. So like what is A/B testing, and then how does like feature flags kind of tie into that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. So from my perspective, you could test things such as like having a scrolling CTA on the side, like this report a bug button, right? This could be called a feature, and you could basically turn this on or off. You could test different verbiage of it. You could test the different, like, does it pop out a little bit more? That's where the variations comes in. So I think when you're looking at it from like a developer perspective and you're building an actual software product, you can kind of manipulate a lot of the different components in the UI of the feature itself. Maybe I'll drop into here and see, like, maybe you try a different visualization of this little bar, right? You call this one thing, you can test different verbiage here and see if it's getting more, if it's causing more confusion, if it's becoming easier for customers to understand, if it's easier for, so the report a bug button works here too as well. You could try having, this intercom pop up here or not. You could kind of set up a lot of different things to optimize your product and make it easier for customers to use, make it easier for people to use, I think is the end goal. So when we talk about A/B testing on a website, it's very similar to what you're going to do. It's just a product manager managing that kind of piece of the dev cycle, or it's a marketing manager managing more of this sort of like go-to-market motion and the sign-up flow and so forth. So you could try one good example, I think, that just quickly comes to mind is if you have like a gated piece of content on the website, you could try 2 different forms on that page. One with, 6 different email, company size, like all those other things people fill out when you're filling out a webinar. Or you could try a simpler form with just 3 components, name, email, and like company or something like that. And see which form actually gets you more signups, and so you can kind of gauge, like, you can figure out what is more beneficial to you as well as to your users by running different variants of the same UI. And you can also use feature flags, obviously, for backend components. I'm not, a technical person, so I don't really know exactly what you would do there, but I'm sure you can run different, like, sort of failover options or different things like that. So I think experimentation is a really key component here. I think people look at feature flags and think about it from a on-off perspective a lot, but you can do more than just keep this here or remove it. You could try expanding the window. You can try making it pop out after 3 seconds on the page, etc. There's like a ton of different ways you can experiment with just little pieces of your product and make it a lot better using feature flags. And then if this breaks something, you can also turn it on and off very quickly. You can kind of escalate issues to the right person to fix it simply, and you'll have the context in your hands here with DevCycle.
Yeah, I love that. I also love that you dropped the term DevCycle, not referring to DevCycle, but that's like when in a movie they say the name of the movie and everybody goes nuts. So I super love that. So I love that. All right. So what else do you got? What are some other things that are exciting you?
Yeah, another thing which just came out this came out a while ago. So we'll talk about variable schemas first. And I know it's not in the list, but I do want to talk about the CLI a little bit, obviously, because that's a huge thing.
Oh, yeah.
So variable schemas, right? This is another use case that I am still kind of wrapping my head around myself, because there's all these different schema types. You can do enum. I'm not exactly sure. Honestly, when I first looked at this, I thought it was numbers, and then I realized you're actually putting strings in here. And so you can put this onto different variables to basically set guard. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure enum is just a way for developers to rickroll non-developers. It's like, let's trick them. We'll just put an E in front, and then they won't know.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking, okay, I guess this is some sort of like number-based schema that you can put on here to evaluate it. But anyways, so yeah, there's enum, regex, JSON files. I'm trying to remember all of them off the top of my head. But basically, this allows developers to set guardrails around the different variables and the variations in DevCycle, so that people like me can go in and turn things on and off, or change your feature flags without actually breaking anything, which is obviously a huge piece. So this is a great feature for the technical audience, because you can sort of set this and forget it and not worry about product managers or anyone else who wants to kind of manage feature flags and get use out of the tool. They're not going to break it with the sort of schemas that you can set up here.
That sounds like a challenge to all of the product people that are out there and all the non-technical. Go forth and try and break DevCycle for your engineering team, especially on a Friday. On a Friday.
I was gonna say, I'm sure I could find a way. So.
Yeah. So call me Carmelo. Yeah. So that's I think the goal with this is just to make it a little bit safer for going in here. So you have sort of a default structure that you can use for ensuring that you don't get the wrong kind of information that breaks things. Breaking is bad. But still, challenge to all the product people out there using DevCycle. Please. Your engineering team would thank you.
And then, last but not least, I do want to mention the CLI, and I have like a notes doc pulled up here. But basically, Nope, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have the CLI pulled up, Dan? Did you just pull like a full-on marketing to developer like transition midstream where you're just like, I'm just going to pull up the CLI now?
No, I mean, I'd love to. I actually hope to get to that point at some point. But yeah, this literally just came out 2 days ago. We're going to be coming out with a bunch of new content on all the things you can do. But basically, you can do pretty much everything I showed in the dashboard, but in the CLI, right? So this makes it so you don't have to switch tools. You can do this directly in VS Code. You can open up the terminal, however you want to access the CLI. But basically, this is just great because you can kind of open up the terminal. This is not the best use case. I feel like you basically can make a feature flag, edit feature flags, turn variables on and off. You can change targeting rules, which we were just talking about right before this, right now, that basically other tools don't usually go that far with targeting rules, right? Like you can kind of set them up or see them, but it's a very hard thing to represent in a CLI environment. So we've done a really cool thing with this sort of decision tree visualization of these targeting rules. It's colored so you can see status, is enabled or disabled. You can see all of the different variables really simply and easily. And then you actually, as soon as you update them, you can see all the changes that you made just right there in the CLI. You don't need to leave. So a lot of the use case for this is going to be, it's just easy to use. You don't necessarily have to open up a browser and go into a separate tool, but you can still use the tool to then look at all of your different metrics and so forth. So, just giving developers more ways that they can access their code base, or all of their feature flags, right? So
I love it. Dan, these are great features. It's almost like you prepped for this. It's almost like
yeah, I had to a little bit, but I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around the tool a little bit, and so it's fun.
I might have to pull you back on. So it's funny because I've just been thinking. I'm like, so the CLI release, and I mean, like, obviously, so Vic, who's here on the stream, who's one of our amazing product folks. He's been working really hard on this, and so is the rest of the team as well. And it's funny because we got a demo yesterday of some of the new kind of features of our CLI, and I'm thinking that on like one of our future streams, and I don't know if it'll be Does It Toggle, although I think that would be fun, or just like maybe just a random DevCycle live. I feel like a like CLI versus GUI, like not bake off maybe, and just like see which of these is more efficient for developers, like which you can actually get there faster. This sounds like I'm having great ideas live on stream right now, and I'm going to completely forget about them until somebody calls this out on a future. They're like, didn't you say you were going to do a competition?
I was going to say we need a clip. Share the clip, and then we'll remember. Share
the clip. Yeah. So yeah, love CLIs. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and this was the thing, right? So we've been working, so CLI has been like on the backlog for a long time, and like there had been some really great work that had been done early on, and we definitely have been talking about this a lot internally. It's like, okay, we say that we're a developer-focused company, but we haven't dedicated this huge amount of time to the CLI. Like we're focused on like the UI, we're focused on like that experience to make it easy there. But like, what if you could make this so that it was really, really easy to just run all of this stuff right from your VS Code? And like, I mean, it was great yesterday. Vic was doing this demo, and he like ran it in VS Code, just in a terminal in there. So like literally to add DevCycle to your project, you did not need to leave your IDE, which is, I think, like that's the gold standard, I think, for what a really, really good developer focused tool is doing. It's making sure that your environment doesn't need to change to use our tool. You can get it really easy. And we got lots more things coming out. So right now, in our CLI, if you've been testing it out, you can try a lot of these features. We don't have evaluation, so we have two. Let me finish my thought first. So you can't evaluate features, but like we've heard that that's a thing people are looking to do, and so we're going to be rolling out those features soon. And so I mean, if you haven't used DevCycle before, or you're kind of new to our world, we have two APIs that are available. We have our management API, which is really for sort of setting up flags and creating them, and then our bucketing API, which is more for like determining who's going to see what. And they're two separate APIs, but they work together. And so we're trying to make our CLI allow that conversation to happen in the future. But right now, it's really focused around giving access to those power features on our management API, which I think is going to be such a powerful thing for developers that are like, I want to use DevCycle. I don't want to have to do a lot more work, and this is how I can do it.
Yeah, totally.
So I love when we rock it through features, because I always have a couple in my back pocket that I really love. So should we go through a couple other features? What do you think, chat? Should we like go through? I have more, and there's like some hidden gems on the platform, and I feel like even if just to show Dan some cool things. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I'd love to see that, but yeah, I'm just seeing if anyone else in chat, but yeah, I think that's super beneficial.
I feel like they will. This will be like some on-the-job training. This is good. And there's like little voices. There's a park near where we are right now, so you might hear some little voices in the background, and hopefully they say something cute and adorable, and that adds that. If one of them says DevCycle, I didn't pay them to do it. All right, so let me get a screen share up here, and I'm actually just going to open this up. So, let me grab this screen share. Share screen. Let's share just my tab here. All right, so here we are in, let me make sure we can see this. Can y'all see this? Can y'all see my organization? I'm not going to give away too many IDs. I need to not do that. There we go. So if you didn't know this, over on the DevCycle platform, there is this, actually making sure my audio is on. Yeah, my audio is on. Over on the DevCycle platform, we actually have, when you sign up, and you go into like your account settings. So if you go into like click on your profile picture, change settings, and you click on this early access area here, you can access a bunch of really cool beta features that we're kind of still rolling out, that might be interesting to you depending on what you're using. So one of the ones that I use a lot, just because of the nature of kind of what I do in this job, is our enabled demo streamer mode. So this is like you're going on stream, you don't want to like dox yourself by giving away your keys that people are then going to go and like take, and so you can actually enable this, and then it's going to allow for you to see things without all of your keys being displayed. And I think I can show you really briefly, like if I click on my key here, I've got a lot of these SDK keys. It just is basically this kind of a like hiding function that you get sort of, I think by default on things like this page, but it adds it to a lot of those other environments as well where things might be popping up. So that's a really cool feature that I love. Another one, and I just don't know why, I actually think our platform is like a really good mix of like light mode and dark mode type stuff. But if you are like a dark mode stan and like this is the mode that you need to have, you can set up your dark mode here. I do love, it actually makes me so happy that like our actual early access beta feature like toggle panel that you're setting up here is not enabled in dark mode, and that brings me great joy, and also makes me twinge a little bit, but that's really cool. And then we got a couple of other features. This is these top two are really useful for when you're first using the platform and you kind of want to like show data when you don't have any data in the system, and so you can actually enable like data, reach data, and then analysis demo data, which is super cool. And then I guess the final thing is just like showing compromised client-side tokens. And so this is like, it's just a nag bar that you'll see at the top. I wonder if I have any right now. That'll be the question. Let me see. Go over here and see if I get any. I have a feeling I don't have any. No, so I don't have any compromise, but if you did, you see this big red bar at the top, which is like super helpful if you're looking to see if there's like compromised keys or keys have gone somewhere that you don't want them to go. So had you seen this? Like, did you know about these features, Dan?
I remember, I think on like my first couple of days, I remember seeing streamer mode and thinking that was pretty cool. But yeah, I was not really that deep into all of these other features. They're really cool though.
Yeah, so there's some cool stuff in here, especially for folks that are just getting started and wanting to see kind of the power that's there. So I think that's really cool. The other thing is, and this one, again, we don't talk about, and maybe Kobe and I talked about it. I think Kobe and I did talk about it a while ago, but I feel like we should talk about it more. Are like that feature opt-in sort of that you can add widget that you can add to your site with like your specific branding. I still think that's really cool. I think moral of this story is like, I super encourage you to go and check out the feature that I am highlighting is going into your profile, going into the settings, and then actually going and checking out some of these things. We've got that feature opt-in. We've also got this integration. So you may not know, we talked on our last feature focus stream a lot about our many integrations, and we are constantly creating more integrations. But you can see, like, if you're looking for just a list of the integrations that exist here, head into that integration section in there. You can get more information about all of these. Obviously, our docs contain all of that information as well, so you can head over there and check that out. But there's a lot of kind of these beautiful hidden gems that exist here in the DevCycle settings. So highly encourage you, go check this out. And then I guess like one last one that's just kind of like an interesting one, and maybe you don't care and maybe you do. It's just, I love some of these things that we put in here because sometimes you forget about the process you need to go through. So you might have set up your DevCycle account a while ago and then you like killed a bunch of these sort of nag bar things that we have in these banners. So one of them that is actually a really helpful one is that this quick start banner that like walks you through the process of doing this. I guess it's not that useful, but especially if you are like adding somebody new to the platform, maybe they joined and then stopped using it. This is like a good visual representation to get you going through. And then as you go through the process, it also gives you this sort of walkthrough at the top and saying the 3 things to go through that getting started step. So like very useful pieces that are in here that I think are maybe not appreciated all the time, but just make your life a little bit easier especially when you're just getting started on the platform. I'm going to turn off dark mode because this is too dark for me. I didn't think I would ever say that.
Yeah, I was just going to chime in too and say that we've improved the, to your point earlier on like all the different integrations we have. Jira has just been improved so you can manage multiple projects in DevCycle. So that's another enhancement. And then to your point at the very beginning of the stream about SDKs, I mean, we basically have a local bucketed and a cloud bucketed option for every single one of our SDKs now. I mean, we did PHP, Python, React, and JavaScript, TypeScript improvements very recently. So just another way we're trying to kind of input ourselves into the developer workflow and connect to all of the places you're already, managing that release cycle.
Yeah, so maybe that's a good spot. Let's go take a look at some of these updates. So we talked about these really briefly, and then we were like, it's not that exciting. But people get excited. People get real excited about especially people that are super into a language. So for all of those who we told that this was not exciting updates, there are exciting updates. So yeah, like we said, earlier, so some updates to our React and JavaScript SDK just TypeScript improvements that are in there. So a little information about these here. I don't want to necessarily read all of this out for you, but you can also learn about our variable schema stuff if you're interested in that. I'll actually share the Beamer link. So we use Beamer to manage our updates, and I'll throw this into the comments if you want to go check this out. You can also get access to all this stuff through the platform. But yeah, so you can see here, we've got all of our recent updates that we've done here. That PHP SDK proxy that we talked about before, SDK visibility, and then our recent Python SDK updates. So Python 2 is gone. So for all of you who have been just you love Python 2 and you've said, I will never move to Python 3. Well, tough. If you're using DevCycle, Python 2 support, she has disappeared. He has disappeared. They have disappeared. It has disappeared. We've also removed a couple and done a couple of name changes. So that DVC options is now DevCycle Cloud options and a few other pieces. And I think you'll see a couple more of these things occurring all over the place. So DVC is going to be starting to be replaced with DevCycle in a lot more places. So it's a little bit longer to type, but I mean, I think we can all handle that extra little bit of typing. Yeah. So Dan, had you used Beamer before, or heard of it before? I'd never before I joined DevCycle.
No, I used a tool called Headway before, but yeah, it's really great for just quickly updating and letting everyone know about new releases.
Yeah, but I have heard through the pipeline. I have heard through that you're working on sort of some cool stuff for future feature releases, trying to what are you trying to do there with kind of feature stuff?
Sure. Yeah, I think one thing that we've historically just written a lot of content about this. So one is embedding this into the docs website more easily, and then also creating more video content that goes along with a lot of these updates. I think one thing is about developers or just people in general is you don't want to just do a ton of reading. You want to kind of come in and get set up and understand it quickly, and just having more quick snippets of sort of the high level value proposition. Here's how you install it. Whether that's video format, I mean, people, digest information differently as well. So just having video content that kind of accompanies more written content, pictures, quick start kind of installation links, things like that we can do. But yeah, we're trying to basically just make sure everyone sees these updates, right? So we want to do more thought leadership content too around a lot of these things as well. How do you use them, right? It's not always just about, this is a feature, here it is, right? I think schemas is a good example, or reusable audiences is one of the features we'll talk about in the next section here. But yeah, exactly. Just giving more guidance, I guess, so that you're not just sort of thrown into docs and have no understanding what to do.
Yeah. So if you're not, by the way, speaking of this video content, if you have not yet gotten sick of seeing this ugly mug with his multicolored glasses on stream, prepare yourself for far more of it. And Dan, you're going to be seeing more Dan. We're going to be seeing all of us. We're just going to get the whole company. Everybody will be on. You will see all of our faces on stream because we are going to be rocking so much video content. We're going to be our transitions. I'm going to go to old school, Ripple transitions too, from old school videos. I'm feeling like we need to get some retro stuff here. I feel like that is really what we need to level up our video game.
I like it. Windows Movie Maker.
Boom.
Bring it back.
Yo,
yeah.
I love. So there's a generational shift, and I feel like I like finding people that still appreciate these things. I was so sad. I was so sad when Windows Movie Maker was removed as the default, because I definitely remember. Do you remember your first computer, Dan? I love. There's certain people that do remember these things. And I remember my first computer was what was it? I'm saying that I remember. It was like a Dell, like random Dell, but it was running Windows Millennium Edition. And I just got like a camera that was like super expensive. And I remember like pulling everything into Movie Maker and being like, this is the best software ever. And then it outputs like this 180p, like just garbage quality thing that I'm so proud of. And I keep finding these videos from like 30 years ago. And I'm like, damn, that is rough. But I miss that joy of Windows Movie Maker. Yeah. So we talked about a lot of things, and speaking as well of this whole thought leadership stuff. So exciting announcement. One of them, I don't know if I want to give one of them away. I'm gonna give one away, and because it's already kind of out there, and then I'll give the other one away short. I'll just give like a little spoiler. So yours truly this September going to be heading all the way to London, England, for DevRelCon 2023, for to do a talk on sort of my background as an educator and teacher, and sort of how that plays into my work that I do here in developer relations. We got another exciting announcement today that we just had another talk that was accepted for another conference. It's way more technical by another one of our awesome members of our team. We've got a ton of conference proposals in right now for some stuff. So hopefully you are going to be seeing DevCycle everywhere as well. We have just we're figuring out a really big event that's coming up in the very, very near future, later this year, that we are really, really excited to be being a really big part of, and more to come on that. But definitely you're gonna be getting sick of seeing DevCycle. That is our goal. We want you to see us so often that you're like, oh, DevCycle's here again. But then we're going to excite you with some new cool thing, some new shiny thing, and you'll be super happy to see us there. We'll always bring candy. Don't quote me on that though. We might not always have candy. All right, so Dan, where are we in our run of shows? So I think we did our features. We talked about some bonus features today too, which I love that we had the chance to do that. But I think we're gonna go take a look at our product roadmap, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the best move.
Yeah, so we're at future features now. So let me get our roadmap link up there. So if you want to head over and check out our roadmap link as we go, you get over to bit.ly/devcycle-roadmap. And you can check out our roadmap. And then Dan, do you wanna kind of take the lead again and pull that up and and sort of kind of walk through some things that you're excited about here?
Totally. Let's share here. Trying to figure out which tab I'm in here.
Sorry, the joys of live streaming on a platform.
Yeah, I feel like the screen share is always the longest wait.
Yeah, well, it's good. We gotta have like some cool, like we'll need to get some filler things that's just like a winking robot or something.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, these are the things. So DevCycle CLI, we already kind of talked about this, but this just came out a couple days ago, and we're making a couple, ease of use and sort of like readability improvements, and we're going to be constantly iterating on this. This is a sort of constant new thing, but makes it super easy to, manage all of DevCycle in the CLI instead of having to go into a different interface. To your point earlier, Andrew, yeah, we're making it easier so you can just do everything through the IDE, and you don't need to necessarily context switch, window switch, tool switch, whatever you want to call it. And then we talked a little bit about SDKs, Python, obviously. So this one, I believe, actually has come out already. And then reusable audiences, I'm going to focus on more than that, because this is a new one that hasn't come out yet, but is supposed to come out in the next week or two here. And basically the concept here is that when you're in DevCycle and you're setting up targeting rules and you're setting up features, you can create, we're calling them audiences right now, or segments, or some vernacular of that type. That basically means you can set up rules or you can set up an audience that you can use over and over again, right? So you don't need to go in and set up okay, anyone at devcycle.com and so forth for every environment, you can sort of just start selecting from drop downs as to who these audiences are. And these audiences don't just have to be people, right? These can be technical components. These can be sort of any logical grouping you want to create that makes sense for the way you want to manage your sort of, development, staging, production, life cycle, and turning features on and off, and choosing variations and things like that I sort of talked about earlier. Going to be a really cool feature. It sounds simple at its core, but this is a thing that's very hard to build out on your own, and it is a huge quality of life improvement. So anyways, really excited for that one to come out, and we'll post some more details. We'll probably do some more video content, as we talked about earlier, on just how this works, some I guess suggestions as to maybe how you can use this and make the best use of it.
Yeah, I love that. So, by the way, like, as I think we're gonna go through some more here, folks. But if you're watching the stream and you ever have an idea for a new feature, some change that you'd like to see, what's awesome is Product Board, which is the service that we use for managing our roadmap. You can actually submit an idea at any time just by kind of clicking in the upper right-hand corner on that big blue Submit Idea button. But because we are developer focused and we know all developers are on Discord, you can also make requests there. You can also make requests every single place, anywhere where you can find a DevCycle. If you knock on my door at 4:00 in the morning with an idea to make DevCycle better, I will 100% kick you out, but we will also consider taking your feature. Oh, awesome. So if you're interested in that Product Board link, let me grab it. So head over to bit.ly/DevCycle roadmap. I think that was it. I'll put it up on the screen again. So just put it in chat, and then I'll throw the banner up here again. DevCycle roadmap. There we go. Yeah. So you can head over to bit.ly/DevCycle roadmap. You can check that out. And yeah, make a feature, suggestion, an idea. If you're unhappy with something, I think this is an understated thing that we don't say enough. It's great. We love hearing when people are happy, but happy feedback doesn't actually help us make the platform any better. It's great. If we can quote you and put it places and you want to tell us all these things, we would love to feature your company on our homepage. We'd love to interview you. We'd like to send you swag. You can quote me on this. If you reach out and you say, we want to be featured, we're using DevCycle, we're so happy with it, I will send you a big old box of DevCycle swag. But also, if you've got critical feedback that will help make the platform better, or things that are missing, or things that our unnamed competitors have that you wish that we had, send it our way, because that's what makes us a better platform. And that's definitely what that's definitely what we're looking for.
Yep. Yeah, just want to echo that sentiment that basically, if you come into this link and you want to choose one of these, write in the chat, tell us, do these features seem interesting to you? Are there other things missing that, maybe are interesting? Because we take that feedback really seriously. And I think at the stage we're at, that's, quintessential to, our success and your success, and giving you a tool that you really, get value out of, right? So yeah, just want to echo that, and then dive into audit logging, which is, I think, a feature that's been asked about for quite a while, based on, kind of conversations I've heard for the first 30 days I've been here. But it's huge, right? Because you can see a full audit log of the feature's history, and then you can start to, better understand why issues are happening. You can, find the root cause of these issues, rule out any given feature, and kind of, fix things faster, turn things on and off, clean up code debt or tech debt in your code. Kind of the whole 9 yards here. So if there's anything in particular you're really eager to see in feature level audit logging as well, definitely write in the chat or submit product feedback there. GitLab integration, right? Honestly, we haven't written a ton in here yet, but the idea is here, having more integrations with GitHub, Bitbucket, all of your different CI/CD tools. So whichever one you're using, right, we can integrate with that, and you can manage your features there. VS Code, right? That kind of fits with the CLI improvements and managing things in the IDE, making it super feature rich, making it easy to manage DevCycle from your VS Code environment. yeah, I don't know if I need to say anything in particular to that. VS Code, I think, is the most used IDE, and so yeah, we want to support that for all of our customers.
Somebody clip that too. Dan hates all other IDEs that are not VS Code. He's not a big fan of. Go ahead.
When I first started to learn, so I know a little bit of front end development, and when I started using an IDE, it was Sublime Text was the first one I used, and then I used VS Code. I like refused to update it for a while, and yeah, I do like VS Code. I'll admit that.
I started with Notepad++, and then I moved away from it for a really long time, and I've actually like come back to Notepad++ because I feel like it's like just what you need in a lot of cases to like get your linting and beautification, but without like all of the bells and whistles. So I like am super big fan, but also I'm trying to turn these clips into something really powerful that we can throw up on social media. So I don't believe that Dan is right with his hate of VS Code. Shame on you, Dan. I'm a NeoVim all the way. If you need to leave your terminal environment to do your programming, to do your code, to make your beautiful things happen, what's wrong with you? I'm all here for it. If these things make it out on the internet, I'm watching the things that get popular. Do you know what's big in developer Twitter right now? Do you know what's going on? Do you know what's the biggest conversation? I thought you always think it's going to be something like VS Code versus like NeoVim or like JavaScript versus like PHP. It is milk right now. That is the like major topic on tech Twitter right now is milk. Chat, if you're here, do you have thoughts on this milk debate? As we're talking features, an unrelated thing. This is where we're gonna get. We're gonna have a bunch of people come on and just be like, "Who are you? What are you doing talking about milk?" Anyways, what's our next actual related thing, Dan?
Yeah, as people write in their comments on the milk debate, we will go over simple self-targeting, which is, I think this user story section here is simple, right? You want to be able to target yourself easily so that you can debug the code the code I'm building behind a feature flag, right? Like it makes it very easy to just target yourself as the audience for someone looking at that version of that feature. Something similar to reusable audiences and so forth, but yeah, this is just another way to make that easier for you working in a local environment, right? Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Everything else, I mean, do we usually go through these later ones? I don't know.
Let's do it. We got a couple minutes. I mean, I would love chat if you're here, if you're wanting to be engaged. Every time I try and do this idea of like I want people to vote on like things that they're excited about. So if you are here in chat and you've just been or like you're not even in chat, you've just been listening. You're like, I shan't contribute to chat. Now is your moment. Now is your time to shine. Let us know what of these like new features that we've got here that are up later. Oh, there's more. There we go. So this is why it's awesome to have more of your product team on the stream. So these are a little out of date. We got more on here. So like, let us know if you've got other ideas, but we've got a lot of things. We've got cleanups. We've got CLI stuff. We've got Okta, SAML stuff. I love that. Downloadable applications. That's one that really excites me. So if you've got some features, throw it in chat. Let us know what you're most excited about, what new features that you would love to see that are either on here or elsewhere. We'd love to know. But listening to Vic, there's going to be way more. We got lots and lots and lots of stuff on the way. It is going to be an exciting summer.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say there's a ton of stuff not included here, and some of these things, get prioritized based on your feedback as to whether we build something different than some of these things, right? Like if these aren't as important as others. So, I don't know if I need to dive into the details on all of these, right? Because I think there's still some of the details being worked out on these, but CLI improvements constantly, to your point. I think some like bulk audience changes and variable changes, that type of thing will probably be coming in the future as well. So I think that's also something to look out for.
Yeah. And if you're sitting here and you're saying to yourself, I don't know if I'm ready, I don't know if I want to recommend it as like a feature now, you can always join us over on Discord and say like have a conversation and throw it out to the community. I think I'm curious, I'm just going to go take a look. I think we've got a fair fair number. We got like over 100 people in our community now, and like we've got basically our entire development team and like marketing team and product team and our CEO and our COO and our CTO. Everybody is on there. Yeah, so we've got like we got over 100 people, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. I got like kids in the background, and I love it. It just adds an ambiance. It adds an ambiance to the stream that I think is fantastic. But let me just present this. Actually, let me share my screen. I think I can pull a specific window. Oh, I might not be able to. I don't know if I want to dox myself fully. Maybe I will. I don't think it's going to dox myself. Oh, the yelling, the screaming. There we go. All right, and there we go. Yeah, so you can see here, like we got our server. So you can always just ask DevCycle, throw in some feature requests over here. We're always really happy to hear from you. We want to have these conversations, and like if you're having a good time, bad time, whatever you're having, just let us know. And speaking of, let me just go back to my screen here and turn off my screen share. Speaking of our Discord, let me throw up our Discord handle on there. But we are going to do a Discord giveaway, and I'm really hoping that somebody's going to take advantage of it this time. I'm going to throw up the link to get over there. But basically what we're doing here is in this segment, I want to pull some more people over into our Discord. So all you need to do to be entered in for a chance to win one of 3 $20 gift cards is you just need to head over to our Discord server. And I'm going to throw a quick link to get over there in a second. You just need to @ me and Dan. Just be like @ Andrew and Dan. I want to get some cash. And you will be entered for a chance to win one of those gift cards, and then I'll send you a nice gift card in the mail that you can use to buy some coffee, or I don't know what you can buy with $20 in 2023, depending on where in the world you are. I suppose it depends. Oh, there we go. Somebody's in there. Hey, there we go. Yeah, so head over, go into Discord, add us, and you'll be entered there. Here, I'm going to just throw that link on there. There you go. So just join our community, bit.ly/DevCycle Discord. You can enter to win one of 3 $20 gift card. And if you're one of only 3 people that submit it, you are probably very much going to win one of these gift cards. And I really want to give it away. So head over there and check it out. There's lots of stuff. There's lots of stuff going on in there as well. Our community's growing, and we really just want to open that up for more people to be part of it. Dan, are you in our Discord? I should have said that before. Are you in our Discord? Like, can people find you? Yes.
Yeah, awesome. I'm there.
Awesome. Yeah, and you can find all of us. The nice thing about the DevCyclists, which is I feel like we haven't named ourselves what we're calling ourselves, but I'm gonna say it here on stream. I feel like we should be called DevCyclists, just because then I feel like we can all get bikes as employee gifts. Who doesn't want a free bike? Just hint. I'm pretty sure our CEO is watching. But yeah. So head over to Discord, and if you want to find any of our DevCycle team, you can just look up the DevCycle folks there. So yeah. I'm gonna pull all this stuff off because, believe it or not, we've been streaming for an hour. And we'd like to keep this kind of short and sweet because we all know you got busy things to do on a Friday, especially because it's a long weekend here in Canada. I think it's also a long weekend where you are in the world, right, Dan?
Yep. Yeah. Well, Monday isn't a holiday, but yeah, Tuesday is. Yeah.
So I think as we kind of wrap things up, Dan, I want to throw back over to you for like some final words on how have your first 30 days with DevCycle be, and like what should people go and check out with DevCycle?
Yeah, no, I've loved it. I mean, it's good to get back on a team. I feel like we move really quickly. We're really adamant about getting customer feedback, right? So I think that would be my call to action is like reach out to us on Discord, reach out to us on Twitter, LinkedIn. You can, request to connect with me directly, whatever you want to do. Yeah, we're really eager to know what you all need in a feature flagging platform. As developers, we want to build a very developer centric tool. I'm excited. I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier. I've gone through and I set up my own feature and my own variables and variations, and it's really beneficial to be able to turn features on and off. But I also want to really highlight the ability to sort of optimize your features in addition to that. And that is, I think a lot of people think that's a product manager's role. but it's not just the product managers, right? It's the developers, and we're making it easier for you to build. We're making it easier for you to clean up stale feature flags. Yeah, I'm excited. I think there's a really cool future here for DevCycle, and yeah, thanks for having me, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Dan. And Dan is going to be back with us. Dan is a streamer in his own right. Dan, where can they find you if they want to find you on? I know you're not streaming about feature flag stuff all the time, and neither am I. But if they want to find you on Twitter or on Twitch, like where can they find you?
Yeah, I think Twitter's the best. It's just at Dan Holloran, HOLLORAN. And yeah, if I ever stream, on Twitch again, which it's been, a long time, yeah, I'll be there. So.
Amazing. Well, everybody, thank you as always. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream today. We are always so excited. Thanks for everybody who showed up in chat. Thanks for everybody who's going to be catching this VOD and wasn't able to make it, but don't worry. We're going to be back in a few weeks with another stream. I'm going to be back doing Does It Toggle. Maybe we're going to be doing a CLI versus UI competition. I feel like that's a great way. I think it should be you and I too, Dan. Like, I feel like it should be like me trying to run the CLI, you running the UI. It can't go well, but that's what makes it a fun stream. But yeah, we'll be back. Yeah, I like it. All right, so we might have Dan back. We might have some other guests on here, but we're gonna be back with lots of streams in the coming weeks and months. So from all of us here at DevCycle, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you around the DevCycle community. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.